really good team win for us tonight, and I think Northern Iowa is a really good team. I think they're going to be a really good team in the Missouri Valley Conference, so this is a great win for us, and excited to have a lot of people kind of contributing, and good team win.
Yeah, go ahead. No, sorry. I was just going to say that we were talking earlier that what they did, I mean, defensively you always want more, but offensively they ran their stuff really well, forced you to defend. How would you grade the defensive effort in whole?
You know, we're not very satisfied with that. I mean, we put them to the free throw line 25 times, but they're an outstanding offensive team, and they run a lot of really good actions, and a lot of them, a whole bunch. There's just really very difficult team to prepare for because they have a lot of different wrinkles. They try to kind of iron out what you're going to do defensively, and then they really try to attack, and just a great team, I think. And so, you know, I knew that it was going to be a challenge defensively, but I thought we got some stops when we needed to, and were able to make a few runs to give us a pretty good lead. And the second half, giving up 42 points, that's too many. And so, you know, we'll continue to be that work in progress.
How about that last stretch? It was 13 and they got down to 5 and, you know, got to be a free throw deal. How about that last stretch?
Yeah, I think, Jeremy, it was one of those deals where we haven't faced a ton of pressure this year. So it's kind of one of those games where it's kind of just early jitters, and I credit their defense. They did some good things. They threw some traps at us out of timeouts, and we didn't handle that stuff very well. And sometimes you don't when it's kind of the first time that you're seeing that stuff. But, you know, fortunately we had enough of a cushion to kind of get through some of those uncharacteristic turnovers. But we're going to have to kind of go back to the drawing board and make sure we clean some of that up.
How about the shooting? You look at the stats, you shoot 60%, you out-rebounded by quite a ways. You'd think it would be more a one-sided game than it was, but, you know, like you said, they were able to hang around.
Yeah, it's you know, it's really when you have double the turnovers that they do. You know, we have 16, they have 8. That's not usually a good thing, and we know our defense is not the type of defense that's really out. You know, we're working for stops more than we're working for forcing turnovers, and that's kind of different from what they did. But that's kind of a big key, and you know, I thought down the stretch they hit some pretty good threes, but they also got themselves to the free throw line, and that was kind of a big difference as well.
Just the shooting percentage. That's a high shooting percentage to maintain for a whole game. What were they doing right there?
You know, one of our main game goals for this game was to run our offense hard, make hard cuts, sprint, don't jog, and to do whatever we do as hard as we possibly can. And I thought our kids really did that. We executed pretty well offensively, so we were taking the type of shots that we wanted to take. And we didn't have more assists than turnovers tonight, but I did think we shared the basketball pretty well and moved the basketball and passed it around, and then ended up taking good open shots when we wanted to. So that leads to better field goal percentage usually.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, and you kind of answered it, but and you had a lot of breakaways too, which parlays to this, but you had 14 assists on 32 baskets. Do you ever have like do you have a kind of an idea like how to show the sharing of the ball? Do you have an assist to shot ratio, or do you just go based on how the shots come? Or you had decent amount of offensive rebounds. I mean, how'd you feel about that actual percentage of getting shots right off a pass?
I mean, we pay attention to that, assists to shots, but more importantly, we're paying attention to our assist to turnovers usually, and that's kind of a bigger key. And, you know, I don't ever like when they have more offensive rebounds than we do, but when you shoot 60%, there's not as many shots to go get. And as long as we're putting some effort, I did have to have a gentle reminder there early in the second half in one of our timeouts to continue to crash the offensive boards. I think sometimes you can kind of get lulled into thinking every shot is going in when you're shooting 60%. But you know, that's something that, you know, continues to be a focus, is that relentless pursuit of offensive rebounds.
38 points in the paint. You mentioned just how hard you ran your offense and trying to get those looks. And does it speak to anything, maybe something they were allowing you to do on their defensive side of things, or just that execution for you?
I think that it was kind of execution. We knew some areas that we wanted to try to attack their defenses, and penetrating into the paint was one of them. And I thought Margaret McLeod did an excellent job of kind of bouncing back, because early we wanted to go in there, and she got blocked a couple times. And I think, you know, maturity showing some maturity out of her. She didn't let that deter her, and the next few times we went in there, she went right back at them. She kind of learned from her mistakes, and then she goes 6 for 10 from the floor and had a pretty good night. So was really pleased to see that as well.
Can you tell us anything about Saturday's opponent?
Yeah, I think that Cal State Fullerton is a completely different team than the team that we went out there and played last year. Their head coach is now in year 2 of his tenure there, and he has really got things kind of going. He's an outstanding coach, and they run really good offense and have a really tremendous guard that kind of leads them, and then 6'3" post player inside that just rebounds the heck out of the ball. And we have a lot of respect for the University of Denver, our conference opponent, and it's really tough to go play there. And they just got a pretty good 17-point win at Denver last night. So very impressive win. I think they've had a tough schedule up to this point, and I think they are going to be an outstanding opponent in here on Saturday.
How do things differ for you going into that game as far as a game plan type of thing? I mean, what do you have to do differently maybe than you did tonight?
Well, yeah, it's a completely different team where this team we played tonight runs 400 different set plays, and you can't hardly prepare for all of that actions, and it's challenging to kind of pick and choose what kind of stuff you want to have your kids prepared for and walk through. And the team that we play Saturday is going to run more kind of looks a lot like kind of Princeton style offense, where it's all reads and back cuts and whatever, and they run a majority of that type of action. And so 2 totally different teams offensively, and it'll be a good challenge for us to kind of have to see some different styles right away back to back.
Any more questions?
Thanks, guys.
Coach. Thank you.